Okay, hello everyone. Thank you all for coming. This is our last weeknights. Okay. How do we translate Li into propriety? You agree with that, you Chinese people? Li translate into propriety? Shouldn't that be etiquette? Propriety should be something like Zhen or something, but Li should be etiquette. Okay? Yi should be principled. It's not necessarily righteous, but it's principled. Okay, this is Qian, right? Qian Xu, shouldn't that be Lian? Okay, Lian is correct. Okay, that's very good. And Chu, this is, right? Chu. Xiu Chu, that's fine. Okay. So, these are going back to slides 23, 24. Those are the values that the sages of old used to judge us, judge people. Okay, so these are actually very, very important criteria that we should measure ourselves against. Okay, this is timeless. Okay, and this filiality here is the number one virtue in Buddhism. If you want to do anything at all, you have to be filial. If you want to go towards goodness, it have to be filial. Okay? If you have someone who filial, you can put up with him, okay, or her. All right? Fraternal respect. Okay, so there's hierarchy here, the sense of respect for seniority. Loyalty. You should be loyal, okay, to the people who did you favors, who are kind to you. You should be loyal to them. Okay, in particular, there are 4 levels of loyalty. You're loyal to your benefactors. You're loyal to your teachers. It's lowest level is benefactors. Benefactors includes your acquaintances, your husband, your wives, and so forth. Those are your benefactors. Next level up is your teachers. Okay, and this is from the Confucian model. You Gong-Shu-Fu. So you're loyal to your benefactors, include your parents, okay? Okay, and then the next level up is your teachers, okay? This is from Confucius' teaching. Next level up is the king, okay? And what Confucius didn't teach the Chinese, but the Mahayana came along, and you have to be loyal to Mahayana, okay, to the Triple Jewel. Because the Triple Jewel probably gives the most to you without you knowing it. Okay, so far so good. 4 levels of loyalty. Any questions about this? Yes, sir. If you are not Buddhist, we don't blame you for not loyal to the Triple Jewel. Is that what the question is?
No, what is a
Just kidding. Yes.
What's a triple jewel?
This would take too long for you. Triple jewel is the jewel of the Buddha, the jewel of the Dharma, Buddha Dharma, and number 3, the jewel of the Sangha. Okay, that's called triple jewel. I'm definitely a Sangha, my friend. Any objections? Okay. Okay. The Buddha, of course, is the enlightened one, the ultimate enlightenment, ultimate achievement you could have, anyone could have. Dharma is the method that brings him to Buddhahood, brings everyone to Buddhahood. Okay, so it's the wisdom. Okay, the highest level of wisdom, and Sangha are representatives, the appointed representatives of the Buddha and the Dharma. Okay, so basically the Sangha are people like us who are basically made of flesh and bones and blood and sinew and fat. Even though we are simple mortals, but we act as representatives of the sagely monks and nuns in the world. Because what happened is the sages, the Buddhist sages, you don't know who they are. Okay, so it's very difficult for you to be able to draw near the sages or plant blessings with the sages. So you plant blessings with the sages through us. Okay, because the sages are actually supporting us and teaching us and guiding us. So far, so good. That's the meaning of the Sangha. The Sangha, basically, we're a bunch of mortals like you, but we actually are in training. We're learning we're trying our best to represent the sagely Sangha, even though we are not sages. So if you extend the same courtesy, the same respect towards us mortals, okay, that will go directly to the sagely Sangha. So you are, that's how you express your respect, your gratitude to the sagely Sangha through us. That's how it works in Buddhism. Okay? So that's what traditionally the Asians they revere the Sangha for that reason, because they said, if I revere you, then I'm revering, even though you are not sagely, you're not enlightened, but you represent the enlightened one. So I revere you, or worship you, or respect you. It's the same as I'm respecting the sagely Sangha. Okay, that's traditional. Has been the case in Asian Buddhism. Okay, and over the years, in this Dharma ending age, I feel is being abused. In that now it becomes just a tradition that when you shave your head, you expect to be worshipped, you expect to be supported, and I'm not of that school of thought. I feel that everyone should earn their way. Everyone should be worthy of the offerings. Okay, that's how we're going to strengthen the Sangha in the Dharma ending age. Is this age of chaos and anarchy and you know, we all know what I mean, right? That's the age of we're in. Okay, so that's why in our small world, little world, we try to live up to those standards, especially of meritocracy, especially in Western culture. It's a meritocracy. Thank you very much. All right, so that's how we're gonna restore the faith and strengthen the faith in the Triple Jewel by earning our way, okay, and delivering, not just expect everyone to serve us because we're representatives. We should become worthy representatives not just representatives. So far, so good? Okay? And so the job of the Sangha, furthermore, is to inspire faith. Like what the patriarchs do. Patriarchs' job is to inspire faith. And that's why they train us in order to, we know and we have the skills to inspire faith. That's a very important job, the patriarch. I finally understood that. Okay? So that's why what is not spoken is that the Sangha is supposed to do things, deliver, in order to inspire faith. All right? So far, so good? Okay, so loyalty has 4 levels. You must be loyal to your parents, to your husband, your friends, your benefactors, and so forth. Number 2, loyal to your teachers, okay? Because in the Confucian model, it is the teachers rank higher than your parents because they give you the life of wisdom. Your parents give you this physical life, but your teachers give you the knowledge life or the wisdom life. Okay? That's why you should be more grateful. And it's not the case, by the way, in the West. In the West, we feel like we pay for the tuition fees. That's why we deserve to be taught. Okay? It's not like that in the Confucian model. Confucian model, teachers make sacrifices, great sacrifices to teach us. Okay? That's why we should be grateful to them. Because they give us wisdom, like here. This is words of wisdom. These are concepts of wisdom that will make a huge difference in your life. Okay? Whether it's happiness or whether it's your attainment. Let me jump the gun a little bit. This not only applies to you. You should look at yourself first. Engage yourself. And then next you gauge the people that you associate with. Okay? Are they filial? Are they respectful? Are they loyal? Okay? Are they trustworthy? Trustworthy is you have to stand by your words. It's that simple. Whatever you say, you deliver. You stand by your words. When you tell mommy that I'm going to get good grades, you will get good grades. That's what you teach your children right there, very early age. Okay? We hold our children to their words. Okay? So we gauge our associates, our friends, our acquaintances based on this criteria as well. Because with the more of these criteria that our associates or the people hang out with meet, then those are the stronger. You have a stronger base for yourself. Okay, for your nucleus, or for your small world. Okay, and if everyone is like that, okay, if you worry about your friends and build a nucleus like that, the world is a lot more stable. In contrast, there's some people who are absolutely, I can think of the word in terms of trustworthiness, backstabbers. Okay, and those you should spot them very quickly. And I tried to work with backstabbers, more than one. And it turns out, once you're a backstabber, okay, if you realize someone backstabs others, stay away from them. They will eventually stab you in the back as well. Whether it's you, whoever you are. Okay? It doesn't matter. So if you hear anyone who backstabs others, write them off. Okay? That's my experience. Eventually, he will backstab you. I watch these people backstab a lot of people. Okay? And eventually, it came to my turn. That's life. Okay? You think you can help backstabbers? Forget it. When given a chance, they will stab you in the back. Etiquette. Okay? There is certain decorum in life. Okay? It's called etiquette. You have to do things a certain way. That's Li. Okay? Chinese Li. Meaning they go through the etiquette, they learn the proper way of relating to each other. We talked about courtesy when you see your woman, you courtesy when you see your Queen of England, King of England, and so forth. Okay? You kiss the French people on the cheek. Okay? So forth. There's a certain etiquette that's expected of you so that you blend in. Okay? So far, so good? We talk about harmony. The Japanese societies, the Korean society are known for their emphasis on harmony. Okay? And that's, you observe a certain level of etiquette. So far, so good? Okay. Principle. Okay? Principle includes right and wrong, good and bad. Okay? So principle here is very important in the Asian culture. If you are not a principled man, okay, you are not to be trusted. Okay? In particular, I know this guy here, he steals at his job. He steals time. He just gets by because it's the federal government, and therefore he can't be fired unless they go through 19 steps and 19 years. Okay? So they game the system. Okay? Such people have no principle. Okay? Beware of those people. They will cheat you too. Whoever you are, you come near them, they will cheat you. They will lie to you. They will mislead you. They will steal from you. Okay? Incorruptibility refers to you have a certain standards when you get a job. In particular, incorruptibility here refers to the officials back then, of old. When you become an official, you're holding a very important job in the good functioning of society. Just imagine that. You are a judge. Okay? Yeah. And therefore, when you hold these functions, these officials, what they're doing is so important to the health and the order and prosperity of the country that they must be incorruptible. Do you agree, you Confucians and Asian people? I'm going out on a limb here because I didn't learn about Confucianism. Okay, but this is what it means to me. Incorruptibility is that, especially when you are in position power, you cannot abuse it. You have to be incorruptible. No one can buy you out. Okay. So far, so good. That's very important. Okay, so that's why back then in Asia, okay, you become an official as a glory, but also as an ideal. You become an official in order to serve. In order to serve, you have to be incorruptible. So far, so good. These are standards that are very important in the well-functioning of society. Okay, so So etiquette is you need to be sensitive, aware of the principle. You need to have know about right and wrong. You do the proper things. You stand by your principles. Okay, propriety. Okay, and incorruptibility, especially you're in a position of power, you must be incorruptible. Okay. All right. And that applies to you as, let's say, a manager in a corporation. Okay, if you are a manager and you can be bought, then you're failing your responsibilities. Okay. If you hired an employee who's totally unprincipled, who games the system, I have my share of disciples like that. They all basically eventually left, or if they didn't leave, I would arrange for them to leave, or I would kick them out myself. Okay, we just don't mix. We don't tolerate those things. And finally, a sense of shame. Okay. We all make mistakes. If all you do when you make mistakes is bear it, okay, then you have no sense of shame at all. Any questions? So this is what you do to apply to yourself first. And you make sure that for your own welfare, for your own safety, you look at the people you associate with. This is what I do. Especially look at all of you. And see how you measure up all these things. And I'm telling you, this backstabber I know, I've seen him, violate all these things. And I said, maybe if he's exposed to good people, good environment, and learn Chan, maybe there's a chance. Forget it. Evil doesn't change. The seeds of evil right there. It's just too evil. All right? So that's why it's very useful. You gauge people. You gauge your friends based on these criteria. Okay? If in particular nowadays, and going back to trustworthiness here, if you catch people lying constantly, okay, it's people lying, okay, that's what people do, like salespeople. Anyone? Okay, don't want to offend you. Too early in a lecture to offend you. Okay, so these liars, the people who lie, and people who game the system. Okay? Watch out for those people. All right? Yeah. So don't avoid associating yourself with those people. My experience has been, I tried, but I failed miserably. Okay? So that's the way it is. Yeah. I will not have no regrets. I give it a try. So, lucky for you, such people are no longer here to infect you. Okay? So, oil and water doesn't mix. Okay. Question from Korea.
Hello, Master. For the word "의," you mentioned that it's more principled than righteousness, justness. But from my understanding, the principle is more like you don't have a flexibility, you stick with the rules. But then the "의," from my understanding of the Chinese character in Korean language, is more like you are more flexible, but you're loyal to your friend, for example.
You're flexible, but you're loyal to your friends. So meaning that you're loyal to your friends, but you're also flexible at the same time. Therefore, sometimes you can be disloyal to your friends.
No. What I mean is like You
I mean,
have
you
a
have to choose
principle?
one, dear. You cannot say I'm loyal and then sometimes I'm disloyal.
No, I meant like when you have a
I know it's okay
principle.
for business woman.
Seriously, no, is a I don't know. I understand it's different. Like is like your teacher or your parents set a rule. That's like more principle. But then when you have the you stand by your friend or your I don't know colleagues
Okay, other
to
Koreans, what do you
support.
think? This Korean here
Let's
is
ask
very,
Chinese,
very
please.
liberal. She says, I'm principal, but I can be also principal so that I can be flexible. Huh? Hey, she's Korean. You Koreans have to help us out. Is that true? That's how it works in the Korean society? Yes? Red.
Thank you, Master.
It's red. There's a difference between red and pink. That's the principle behind it.
Thank you, Master. I think Venerable Xuanan is talking about 义气, 江湖义气. So it's kind of a sense of loyalty to a friend or a pack, to kind of how to put it, to always seek the best interest for the pack. This is kind of my understanding.
No, your generation of the 义气 is different from my generation, apparently. Plus the fact you are educated in the different kind of education system compared to my education system. Okay, so that's why there is some different interpretation. In my generation, 义气 here, it refers to the fact that, let's say you have a blood brother. That's what the Chinese do. You know what I'm talking about. You know, you two men get together and they decide to become blood brothers, so they cut their throat. I mean, excuse me. they cut their fingers, okay, and then they put the blood together or something like that. It's very unsanitary, you ask me. Okay, okay. And then that's how they become blood brothers and make vows that we will get rich together. We get famous together. We become officials together. And we share all the goodness as well as all the bad stuff. Okay, so we made a vow. This is how I learned 义. Okay, 义气. Okay, in primarily from the kung fu novels. Okay. That's my generation. We don't have any other sources. Okay, yeah. So that when your blood brother is in trouble, okay, and you have a conflict with them, okay, then and you're given a choice to have a lot of money, become an official, get promoted. Let's say two rival countries, okay? Your brother belongs to the other country, okay? And now you're approached by the adversary country, and the other country offers you the chance to get promoted and so forth. And you said, no, I'd rather die with him than go with you, okay? That's the 义气 I know about. Is that what you guys learn too? Again, my background is kung fu novels. Okay, so that's 义气 right there. That you stand by your vows and don't and will not compromise your values. Okay, you will not violate your vows with your blood brothers. So the kind of Ichi I'm talking about. Okay, so these people are called principled people because they stand by the vows. Anyone else? What happened to all the Chinese people when we need them? Yes, Kath. Only a Catholic here.
I heard there was another dimension from incorruptibility that which I not been able to accomplish, is the not being corrupt by the devil, or like not being basically that's what it teaches the Catholic Church, that you have to be loyal and incorruptible, but at the same time not only superficial incorruptibility that we're talking about, but also not being corrupted by the devil, which I find it difficult.
Anyone? Tell him the truth. Let him know. Shall we tell him or shall we just let him be Catholic? In our world, there's some points here. Maybe you should get you get the answer from them instead of from me, because otherwise you think I'm pick on you. YouTube question, go ahead.
Ninja Checkmate asks, Master, does it take a lot of blessings to recognize when thoughts arise and to be able to drop thoughts?
Yes. Question from Korea.
Master, what is the difference between a sense of shame and feeling guilty?
Okay. Feeling guilty is what women do. Men have a sense of shame. Clear, isn't it? We men don't feel guilty at all. True or not? One Teksunim, you feel guilty? He's laughing. See, he said, guilty, me? Okay. Sojo, you feel guilty, you have a sense of shame. Red.
Yeah, sometimes both of them.
You feel both of them?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, let's have a real person. Sang-wook. You feel guilty or have a sense of shame? Be original.
I have both too.
Let's go. Draw near, red, you become red. Draw near. Both, you become both. Yes, sir.
For me, this is only for my own observation of my own self. When I feel guilty, that's destructive for me. When I feel shame, it's progressive for me. That means I could get out of it, repent for what I did, and I feel shameful for what happened, and then I go to confession or I pray or whatever. But that's my feeling, that when you feel guilty, it's just repressing, and not going to do anything about it, but just feel guilty about it.
Okay. Before I forget, this is also an observation. That is, not only before I forget, because I keep on forgetting these things. So you use these standards to gauge yourself, right? And then you use standards to gauge others that you get to know. Okay, when you interact with them a lot, that's how you get to see how they measure in these standards. Okay, so it gives you an insight into what kind of person this person will be. Okay, and eventually, if they violate these things, they will stab you in the back. They will hurt you for sure. Okay, they will try to hurt you for sure. And finally, one more thing that's also very important. Words of wisdom. And you see, when you spot those people, then you see who associate with those people, okay? And you watch those third party, you see they eventually get hurt to themselves, okay? Yeah. So that's what I've been doing the last 15 years, observe all these, okay? So it's kind of cool. Okay, now, difference between guilty and sense of shame. Did you have a question, sir? Okay, give him a microphone. Red. How come there are two reds? That's pink? Okay, you say so. I need new glasses. Yes, sir. Red.
Master, how do we draw the line between loyalty, like the story of Quan Công? He could have killed Tao Tao at that time, but he let Tao Tao go. And thereby he did not follow the order of Gia Cát Lượng, I think.
Zhuge Liang. Okay, so he's disloyal to his boss.
And he's loyal to his friend.
Okay, so where do you draw the line? Well, Quan Cung, when he let go of Cao Cao and violated the order of Cung Ming, okay, of his the advisor, his king and blood brother, okay, he violated those things, okay, but his rationale is that he owed his life and his Liu Bei's, his blood brother's wife's honor to Cao Cao. Okay, Cao Cao could have, given Liu Bei's wife and attendants to his shoulders and let them have a good time. The Cao Cao didn't, because of Quan Cung. Okay, so Quan Cung stood, in front of Liu Bei's wife and concubine, whatever, and he said, "You want to touch these people? He has to go through by my body." So Cao Cao relented. So Quan Cung was grateful for that, probably more for his brother's wife's lives and honor than his own life. Being a soldier, Quan Cung knew that he could lose his life any moment in a fight, in a duel. Okay, and that happens. Okay, with these people. But what he treasured more the fact that Liu Bei's wife's honor was spared by Cao Cao because Cao Cao adored Quan Cung. So Quan Cung used it to preserve the honor of Liu Bei's wife. Okay, for that, it wasn't explained, but this is my interpretation of that, because Quan Cung is a superior man with principle. He's very, very principled. Okay, so he says that life right there, that honor right there, is worth more than a life. Okay, it's not so much she is alive, but her honor is intact. She still is the wife of my blood brother and the queen of that country. That is worth something to Quan Cung. It's more than a life, if you will. So that's why he felt that he would exchange his life for Cao Cao's life. So he let Cao Cao run away, and then he went back to Cung Ming and said, "Kill me. I betray you." That's the only principal thing that he could do back then. Does it help?
Đối với cái đạo lý của người Trung Hoa cho Ngài Quan Thánh. Con rất là kính trọng Ngài Quan Thánh, tới bây giờ cũng vậy, nhưng mà cái đó con thấy không đúng. Trong vấn đề quân sự anh đã đứng cái đó mà anh vì cá nhân anh mình đổi cái kia cái nọ, cả một chiến lược lớn như thế nào. Bây giờ ví dụ Mỹ đang đánh với một cái nước khác, anh là một cái người tướng chỉ huy cái vùng đó, vì cái nghĩa khí cá nhân anh ra anh làm thinh để cho bên kia nó tấn công nên để trả cái mạng cái nợ của các anh với nhau, mà cả 300 triệu dân tộc nó như thế nào. Mình thấy cái đó là cá nhân thôi, không có đúng.
Master, I disagree with that because I feel that
He didn't say disagree with me. Never mind, go on. Oh, these Vietnamese translators. I listened these very carefully. He would not, but has with me. And somehow
Sorry,
you made
Master,
him...
how could I translate properly?
You is the mind who's butting heads with me. Go on.
I feel that the way Quan Công react in that situation is not proper because it was considered personal relationship, and then he was put it over the benefit of the country. So let's say, for example, the U.S. is going to war with a country, and then you are the general. You have to go into war, and then because of the personal relationship with another country, and then you let that person go or whatever, you don't really considerate like 300 million citizens of the U.S., so you only treasure your personal relationship. For me, it's not proper.
Okay, anyone else? He's correct. From a military perspective, you're supposed to follow orders. Okay, that's how the military works. You have to execute the orders. So I understand where he's coming from. All right? But in this case here, I try to explain to you from a principle perspective. That's how Quan Công behaved, in a principles fashion. Okay? Not as a military man, but as a principle, it's a matter of principles. Okay? So he felt at that time the principles, his principles overrode his duties as a soldier. Yes, Green.
Thank you, Master. I've heard an example before, just like if you walk into a room and your master, your boss, and the president ask you to do something that contradicts all the others, which one are you going to listen to? But in this case, are they talking about like what values you hold in like secular values, or is it more of the loyalty you have to the Dharma?
Whatever is important to you, whatever principle is important to you. Okay, for the Catholic, the principle might be loyalty to God. Yes, you respect that. Okay, that's important to them. That's how they live. Okay, so it's not the one principle for everyone, for everything. Okay, so it's the principles that you hold dear to. That's what this is referring to. Okay, and that's why the related matter is, so the principle you hold matter. Okay, you have to be careful what you adhere to. So that's why we need to influence our children of the proper principles before they buy into the erroneous or misguided principles. You know what I mean? Okay? Because if you buy into the misguided principles, will pull you sideways. unfortunately. Okay? And so just think about it. A person who is principled, okay, a very principled person, but adheres to an erroneous principle, you will, okay, that would be a shame. Okay? But in the history, in the historical stories, those people are still lauded as principled people, even though they are loyal, they adhere to the wrong principle, they still revered in the folklore. Okay? YouTube question.
Christopher asks, Master, in today's job industry, if you are different, for example, if you're a different race, culture, or have different interests, it could be difficult to advance in your career. If you try to find a new job, because the industry is so small, you could find yourself in the same vicious cycle repeating, because people network and people talk. What do you advise for us to do in such circumstances? Change career or stick it out?
I can't give you an advice because I'm really don't have that kind of wisdom. All we have to offer you is some common sense. That is, the job you have is the result of the blessings you have. Okay? Blessings in an Asian culture manifest in 3 ways. Okay? They call blessings, remuneration, and long life. Vietnamese phước lộc thọ, Chinese phú lưu shou. Am I making sense, Chinese people? Okay. So phú, phước, Vietnamese, phú, Chinese, is the blessings. Meaning in terms, for example, you get an inheritance. You win the lottery. Okay, that's called blessings. That you don't have to work for it, you just have it. It comes your way. Okay? Or your husband gives you something, that's part of your blessings. So far, so good? Okay, those are things that you gain without having to do anything. That's called blessings. Whether it's through family relations, marriage relations, whatever, friendship relations, whatever. You save someone's lives, okay? Like I heard stories of people in Europe saving the Jews, some Jewish families, and now. As this old Jewish man died, he left his fortune to this small village in the Basque region or in Alsace and so forth. Okay, so those are your blessings. Okay, you don't have to earn it. It comes your way. Okay, that's blessings. Okay, next is remuneration, meaning that the income you earn from work. That's called remuneration. Okay, so some people have great jobs and well-paying jobs. Some people have great jobs that don't pay well. It's because they don't have the same amount of remuneration. Okay, so in his case here, he's talking about. I'm sorry. Let me finish. And the third one is shou, is life, long life. And also, what's implied in long life is a healthy life as well. Okay, so what's the point having money, having blessings, but you can't enjoy them? Okay, so that's why. And what's the point having a lot of money and living long and you're not healthy, and you're depressed? Okay, or you're manic, you're crazy. So that's why you have all three things that are the 3 components of blessings that we all can use in lives. Okay, when Christopher asked about his other job, what if you stick it out or you have discrimination or whatever? It's his remuneration blessings, and it's something that you need to be cultivated, needs to be accrued. Okay, how do you accrue them? You blessings. You have blessings that you didn't have to work for it. Okay, then you have to give away blessings like Mackenzie's got, like who, Mr. Buffett, Mr. Gates, and so forth. Okay, those people give away the things they have to others. They didn't have to work for it, so that's why they accrue these type of blessings themselves in the future, right? And then long life, doctors, nurses, they help prolong people's lives and heal their illnesses. So they accrue, they generate blessings for themselves to have long lives in the future. Okay? And as to remuneration, how do you accrue blessings for remuneration? Never did it before, so I don't know. Anyone can give me some hints? How would you do it? You help people get remuneration, okay? Like you create jobs, training programs, okay? You coach people, you train people, okay? So that they get good jobs or they get promoted and so forth. So you gain blessings by helping others get remuneration in one form or the other. Okay, that's how you accrue those blessings. So I don't know how to change these things per se, but those are the theory and the principles behind it. Okay? I don't have a direct answer. Anyone has a direct answer for him? Change or stick it out? Huh? To me, I'm not the same as you in the sense that everything I do is very hard. You know, no one gives it to me at all. So I don't have blessings, unearned blessings. Okay? And so I have a tendency to tough it out. Okay? I look at things differently than you. I don't look at remuneration. I look at contribution. Okay? If I contribute to good things, that I do good things, and those will result in certain economic value. That's my remuneration. So I don't care. Okay. From Christopher's perspective, he wants to see the results. I don't look at results. I look at doing things, doing the right things, and the results, whenever they manifest, let it be. Okay. And my entire life, I've always have to work very hard, earn my way through, and get by with minimum. So I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me anymore. Okay. So, for example, I'm a Guo, second generation, like the spy number 1 here. Okay. So I have access to my master's gifts to us, our second generation, the temples and whatever. Okay. But I'm not. I don't have access to them. It doesn't bother me. Actually, I like it better that way. Okay. Yeah. And what Master YongHua did, accrue in terms of temples, money, and all those things, fame and so forth, is for us, our generation, second generation. So we all entitled to that. Okay. But I can't use them. It doesn't bother me at all. Actually, because of that, I intend on generating what I, from my own, with my own two hands, more than I can get from them. Okay? And to make a point. Okay? That each generation we earn our way. We don't need to depend on our parents. Should be have some pride. Okay? The harder it is, the more merits and virtue you can accrue. Now, so that's my general advice to Christopher. Okay? You quit, that's fine. Find something else, that's fine. But if you stick it out, that's fine too. It boils down to me how important it is for you. If I look at money alone, that's not how I look at it. I look at whether it's a job I like, whether it makes a difference. On the other hand, I could make a lot more money cheating you. Okay? It's easier to make money when you cheat people. It's faster. And remember, my plan is to retire, so all I have to do is cheat you and then retire. What are you going to do? Okay? But that's not what this is about. It will not bring happiness. Okay? If you stab people in the back, you have satisfaction. Okay? But you're a monster. No one can want you. No one loved you, can really love you, because you're a backstabber. You're a thief. Okay? You're unprincipled. You're corrupt. You have no loyalty. Okay? So that's what quality of life is about. It's not about how much money you make, to me. Okay? It's about doing the right thing. Okay? Think about it. You make money and you measure success in your profession as money, then you're in trouble. Because you can make a lot of money by stealing from people, okay? But because of a loss and cause and effect, you cannot hold on to that money, okay, for long, and you are planting the seeds for extreme poverty in the future. Okay, there's some consequences. That's why we don't do those things. Okay, so my advice in brief is to look at what's important to you. For me, money comes second. Well, at least not first. Okay? Anyone else? Okay, so we're still talking about shame and guilt. Yes, Jared, are you guilty of something? It's time to confess.
Yes.
What are you guilty of?
I am guilty that I dropped my mom's phone in a bucket of water.
Oh no. Guilty. Okay. All right. Are you ashamed of that? Are you ashamed?
Yes.
Very good. So he's okay. You're forgiven. Shall we spank him? Yeah? See, Joseph agrees we should spank Jared. Joseph likes to inflict pain. Okay, YouTube question.
Tianguo asks, Master, could you explain how Guangong ended up becoming a Dharma protector for Buddhism and became the main Dharma protector along with Weito Bodhisattva?
I have no idea. It's a Chinese thing. God, good Lord. I'm glad I'm not Chinese. So complicated. Okay? So that's why and then thank you for asking the question. This woman here knows a lot, and she's Chinese, and she only gives me a hard time about Chinese things and will not help me with Chinese issues. But that's one of the things about Quan Gong is that he ended up being standing right there, the other side. You see that statue right there? So we revere him, we worship him, because he's actually doing a lot of good right now, after he died. Okay? He became a Dharma protector. We call Dharma protector. Actually, he's helping protect us. Okay? We're grateful to him for that. Okay? So he's actually a special kind of a special case. So that's why these people appear in the world to teach us a lesson, to teach us an important lesson, a lesson of principle. Okay, Quan Gong is a very principled man. He's prepared to give up his life for his principle. Okay, for his oath to his blood brother. That's what he does. Okay, he's incorruptible. He's a very principled man because even when he's about to die, even when he's offered a lot of money, a lot of high position, and the Cao Cao, the opposing general, adores him because of his loyalty, his skill as a general, his loyalty to his blood brother. Cao Cao says, among my talented people, my subordinates, no one is as principled, no one is as loyal as Quan Gong. That's why Cao Cao said, if I have a man like that standing by my side, there's nothing in this world I cannot do. That's why Cao Cao gave Quan Gong very special consideration. And Quan Gong knew that. Quan Gong realized that Cao Cao is a very, very different person. He recognizes what a man who can live by his principles means to a great cause. Cao Cao could be evil, could be a liar, could be a cheat, and all those things. But Cao Cao has a cause. Okay? So Quan Gong gave Cao Cao special consideration more than just a soldier would give. Okay? So that's what I urge the old monk here to be more open-minded and not just think in terms of the military, in terms of principle, but look at the men who did that. Okay, this man here eventually became a sage. That one lifetime there, he was a general and he died. They cut his head off, and later he became a sage, a Dharma protector. So everything he did there, in that life there, has wisdom. That's why I would not go against and condemn him as, personally, I would not condemn him as a bad soldier. I wouldn't. Okay, because of that consideration. So later, Quan Gong was caught again by Cao Cao's army, and because Cao Cao made it declare publicly that Quan Gong is his favorite general of the whole world. Okay, so of course, when you do that. Cao Cao did that to raise the spirit of his generals. But if you are a backstabber or if you are a bad person, that does nothing. Okay, so these people, instead of raising their standards of loyalty and principles, they became jealous of Quan Gong. So when Quan Gong was caught again by Cao Cao, was captured again by Cao Cao's army. The Cao Cao subordinates cut Quan Gong's head off, killed him. Okay, and that's how Quan Gong died. Okay, and when Cao Cao heard of that. Okay, they presented Cao Cao with Kwang Kung's head. Okay, Cao Cao was so upset, and he cried. Cao Cao cried. He said, "You don't treat a man like this." Okay, so it shows Cao Cao's superiority right there. If you see a person who recognizes principled people like that, these people are not ordinary. They're outstanding people. Okay? So anyway, so later Cao Cao, for you, those of you who don't know, Cao Cao became the king of the whole China. He succeeded in his attempt. Through killing, through lying, through stealing, through cheating, everything. But he became successful. Okay? And so that's from his blessings. So what happened to Kwang Kung is that they cut his head off. And so he became a ghost. And so he's running around. And so they reported, the soldiers reported in battlefields, there is a man without his head riding his horse with his lance and screaming, "Where's my head? Where's my head?" It terrified all the soldiers. Okay, all the soldiers were terrified. And so that's how Kwang Kung, that's what Kwang Kung did. He went, he rode around the battlefield looking for his head. Okay? He probably thinking, how would it look like without a head as a general? So Kwang Kung took his general job very, very seriously, apparently. And until one day, he met a monk who spoke the Dharma to him. Okay, I forgot what the Dharma was. Kwang Kung says, "Where's my head? Where's my head?" The monk says something. I explained the Buddhist Dharma to him. Okay, and woke Kwang Kung up. Maybe this Tian Guo knows what it is. She asked me just to irk me. Just to remind me, I don't know all these Chinese secrets, the Chinese stories, the way I claim. And Kwang Kung heard the Dharma, and it woke him up until he stopped looking for his head and cultivated, and later became a Dharma protector. Okay? So that's the story behind it. And so for him to become a Dharma protector in our temples, he's pretty skilled. See, he's the same level as Wei To here. Okay, Wei To here. You should be frightened of Wei To. I'm scared of Wei To, so I'm paying him back. He's abused me once. Hey. Hey, Lao Wei, huh? How are you? Okay, he beat me up once because I misbehaved. And proved to me he's far better than I was. Yes, old monk. It's 10 years ago. So.
Cái quý vị thắc mắc á, tôi cũng thắc mắc, cho nên tôi may mắn là tôi có đọc câu chuyện lúc mà Ngài đi kiếm cái đầu này. Thì gặp một vị hòa thượng thì hỏi trả cái đầu cho ta. Thì hòa thượng nói, ông tại sao cái đầu thối ông đi theo ông kiếm hoài, còn ông không đi kiếm cái đầu mà không sanh không diệt á. Ông đi kiếm gì cái đầu thối giả này. Thì Ngài ngộ. Ngài mới thề là từ đây về sau bất cứ ai tu hành tôi sẽ ủng hộ, để giúp. Thì đó là cái lời truyền vậy thôi. Thì đây là tôi có một câu chuyện này là thật là Ngài có giúp người tu hay không. Thì đa phần cái người đạo Phật Việt Nam á, họ nghĩ là đạo Phật là đạo của Phật Phật. Còn Ngài Quan Công là những vị thánh của người Tàu thờ thôi, họ không có quan trọng lắm. Thì ở Việt Nam đó, cái này là tôi gặp cái ông thầy thật đó, ông kể cho tôi nghe là ông còn nhỏ đó. Thì ở Việt Nam hồi năm 60 mấy đó, ông Ngô Đình Diệm ông mở cái đường lộ trong cái thành phố Quảng Ngãi hay đâu đó, thì trúng ngay cái đền của ông Quan Thánh của người Tàu, thì phải dẹp thôi để làm cái đường lộ. Thì cái ông trưởng hội đó mới đem cái tượng Phật, tất cả những tượng của ngài Quan Thánh trong cái chùa của ngài đó gửi qua cái chùa của cái ông thầy mà gặp tôi trong tù á. Ông thầy lúc đó còn trẻ, 10 mấy tuổi à. Thì đem về để trong một tượng ngài Quan Thánh, thì để chánh điện, còn mấy cái tượng lặt vặt đó thì để ngoài vườn chùa, tức là mấy cây xoài rồi để dưới gốc xoài rồi chơi vậy thôi chứ không có chỗ. Thì trong chùa có 2 ông sơ di nhỏ, là cái ông mà gặp tôi trong tù lúc sau này là vị tăng rồi đó. Thì ông kể hỏi còn nhỏ. Thì cái ông kia đó, thì nghe ông thầy nói là đạo Phật mới quan trọng, còn ông Quan Thánh là đạo thánh, đạo thường thôi, cho nên không có tôn trọng lắm. Rồi mấy cái đứa nhỏ, mấy cái chú tiểu trong chùa cũng coi thường. Thì giỡn nhau lấy đá chọi chơi, chọi mấy cái tượng mà bằng sành ở ngoài đó bể hết à. Ông thầy cũng không có nói gì. Bữa ông thầy đi ở nhà đó, rồi mấy đứa con nít sớm vô nó chơi với mấy chú điệu này, chơi trúng cút bắt. Thì cái cậu sư di này đó quen với ông thầy tôi đó, mới chung với bạn Quan Thánh trốn. Mấy đứa kia vô nó bắt. Thì con nít chơi với nhau mà, thì cái ông ở dưới đó, ông mới nắm cái chân bạn lắc. Trên này tượng Quan Thánh nhảy dựng luôn. Thì mới la lên, mày vô bắt tao á, tao giật cái tượng này bể là thầy về quánh hết 2 đứa. Rồi thôi chuyện cũng xong thôi, rồi chiều đi ngủ. Thì trời chưa có tắt hẳn nắng, thì hai chú tiểu đó với cái ông thầy quen tôi đó nằm trên giường ngủ. Thì ngài Quan Thánh xuất hiện. Ý tôi kể câu chuyện này là ngài vẫn đi theo độ trong chùa, chứ không phải là người ta đồn đâu. Tức là mình tu, các chùa tu thì ngài giúp đúng theo cái lời thề của ngài đó. Thì ngài đứng ở dưới chân giường á, cái tướng như vậy đó, cầm cái roi quất roi thứ nhất là cái chú đó văng xuống đất luôn. Xong nó lồm cồm bò lên, thì ông này nằm cái bên thấy từ A đến Z luôn. Bò lên rồi đó, rồi nằm xuống quất một roi thứ hai, đau đến độ mà văng cái đất luôn. Thì sáng hôm sau đó, ông thầy trụ trì ông ngủ trong, ông hỏi tụi bay qua làm cái gì đầm ở ngoài này đó. Thì cái ông thầy quen tôi mới kể, nó dạ thưa thầy, qua cái thằng gì nó lắc tượng Quan Thánh, ngài Quan Thánh đánh nó đó. Thành ra ngài nguyện là ngài giúp người tu đúng không, thì ngài xuất hiện đó. Mà mấy chục năm, mấy trăm năm sau rồi, mà cái cậu này chỉ là bất kính mà lắc cái tượng thôi, ngài quýnh đó, quýnh văng xuống đất luôn. Ban ngày còn chưa có tắt nắng, hẳn thấy rõ luôn á. Xin hết.
I would like to share with you a real story that I heard from a person. This was a monk that I met when I was in the prison, in the concentration camp. So he told me the story when he was still a teenager, Shami at a temple. And then back then there was in the 1960s, under the reign of Ngô Đình Diệm. And then it was in the central of Vietnam, probably Quảng Ngãi province. And because they have to build the road, and then there was the Quan Công temple was kind of like was in the way of building a road. So they have to demolish the temple, and then they have to move everything from the temple to another place. So the head of the Quan Công temple brought all of the statue to the temple nearby. So because the other temple were small, so only the main statue of Quan Công was placed inside the Buddha hall. All of the other statue was placed around the yard and outside. And then, you know, back then in Vietnam, they have a general perception that Buddhism is like they worship the Buddha. But because Quan Công was they think like Quan Công was belong to the Taoists. So those Buddhists, they don't really pay respect to Quan Công. And because of that general belief, this Shami did not have any respect to Quan Công at all. And then when they play around, they can use the rock, and then they throw, and then they hit at the temple, they break the statue, blah, blah, blah. So one time when the Shifu, the head of the temple, was away, and then there was only those shami at the temple. They were play around with all of the other kids in the neighbor. And then they chasing after each other. They tried to catch this shami. The small shami was running and hide under the table. And on top of that table was the statue of Guan Gong. And then while other kids was about to catch this shami, and this guy was so scared, he shook the table and threatened the other shami like, hey, do not get close to me, do not catch me, otherwise I will shook the table, and the statue will fall off the floor, and if it's break, all of you will get into trouble. So because of that, those kids were so scared and then let go of him. And then when it comes to bedtime, back then they go to bed very early. It's like it's not really fully sunset yet, and then they already go to bed. And you know what? Guan Gong appeared. The spirit of Guan Gong appeared, and then the one that told me the story, he witnessed that Guan Gong used the whip that whipped the other shami who hide under the table twice. So the first time he whipped, and that boy, he fell off the bed. And then he tried to get back to the bed again. He whipped the second time, and then that boy fell off the floor. So when it comes to the next morning, Shifu was asking, what happened with you guys? I heard there was a lot of noise. And then they report to the Shifu that Guan Gong appeared and taught this little shami the lesson for not respecting. So my point is, this is the real story, because Guan Gong make a vow that he will protect those who practice, who cultivate. So that's why he still stick to his vow and taught the shami a lesson for respectful.
Okay, thank you for the story. So let's try to give you the answer. What's the difference between guilty and sense of shame? Yes, Green.
Okay, thank you, Master. So I was going to ask about a little bit more about the sense of shame, anyway. So maybe I can continue after. Ask question. You answer this. You say something about shame. Hold on my question.
Hold question?
Yeah.
About shame?
Well, okay, I'll just ask then. So basically, I was thinking about these virtues that are up here, and I know that when we repent for violating one of them, we shouldn't just say, I'm sorry, Master, I have sinned. We should do more than that. And I was wondering, what kind of mind can we cultivate to actually bring about a repentance of not fulfilling our vows?
Okay, very good. Okay, to give you a brief answer, guilty is what worldly people use. They say, I'm guilty of this, I'm guilty of that. Okay? This is based on worldly standards. I'm guilty of lying, I'm guilty of mistreating you, and so forth. That's how worldly people use the word guilty. And guilt trip is what in particular we like to lay on women. Lay a guilt trip on women. This is what men are learn, we learn, young men learn. Where's Joseph? If you want to be in control of women, you have to lay a guilt trip on them. Okay, now you can leave. Just kidding, just kidding. Does it work? Not all of them, but it works. Okay. Temporarily. So guilt is a non-Buddhist concept, if you will, because you sinned. Yeah? You're guilty because you sinned. Am I correct? In your world? That's the language you say, right? You're guilty of having sinned. No? You're guilty. You commit these sins. Yes? You're guilty for having committed certain sins. We don't use sins, by the way. We create offenses, we create karmas. We don't create sins.
I think that it's more complicated than that. Because guilty, that's more like punishment or like your own punishment. You're not supposed to feel guilty. You're supposed to feel repentful. Because for in Catholicism, guilty is we're no used to.
So it's a
guilty.
judgment, like you guilty.
No, when
you
you
broke
say-
the commandment number 10,
Right,
therefore
now-
you guilty.
But then again, we believe that the word guilty is not used by God, it's used by the devil. So when you feel guilty, it means that, yes, you have sinned, but you're not capable of moving away from that because you have to have repentance.
Okay, the Catholics are too complicated. Okay, and good thing they have their people, who understand those things. For us, okay, so in the Buddhist world, we don't use the word guilty either. Okay, guilty to us is a non-Buddhist concept. Okay, for in Buddhism, we say instead of saying we're guilty, we say we committed offenses. Okay, we broke precepts, we broke rules of morality. Okay, so that's what we do. That's how we use it. And because we violated rules of morality, the rules of propriety, then we give rise to a sense of shame internally. Okay, so sense of shame here is internal. And that's a virtue. When you're a virtuous person, you should be ashamed of yourself. Remember? So I watch this backstabber here, that the game system and steals from everyone, lies to people and manipulates everyone. I watch him and say, do you have a sense of shame? Okay, those are, and absolutely not. Okay, so this is a telltale sign of the people. Okay, so you see, if you detect a sense of shame versus someone who says, I'm guilty, the sense of shame gives you a lot more useful information than just someone who says, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Okay, send me to prison. But I have no sense of shame. I'm going to go back and do the same thing again. Okay? So the sense of shame here is that you know it's wrong. Gaming the system is wrong. Okay? Stealing from the government is wrong. Okay? So that's why you give rise to a sense of shame. Okay? And therefore you repent. You admit you're wrong and you repent, and then you change your ways. So in Buddhism, you give rise to a sense of shame as a precursor to changing, to make changes, to making changes. Okay, meaning that you know it's wrong, and you know it's wrong. Then you have a sense of shame, and then you don't do it again because you don't want to experience this sense of shame again. Okay, so the standards are rules of morality. Okay, if you violate them, then you are creating offenses. So that's what the Catholics call them. The other people call them sins. Okay, there's no concept of sins. This is to say that these are the universal rules of morality throughout the universe. You violate these rules, okay, then you create offenses which will bring on very bad consequences for you. Okay, it's no one who determines it's a sin. Sin seems to say, you sin, my child. Okay, so someone who decides you sin. Whereas this sense of shame here is that it's something arises internally because you know you violate the rules of morality. That's universal. Okay? It has no giver. It's just rules. Yeah? Like gravity. That's the way it is. Okay? So that's wisdom. And that's why if you give rise to a sense of shame, you repent, okay? And by saying, yes, I recognize it's wrong, and I will not do it again. Yes, sir.
I disagree that sin is for me, sin is most or like, it's like saying, yes, I broke the 10 Commandments at some point. Yes, I broke your path to you, God. Or that what we call the act of contrition. What you just explained, we Catholics call it the act of contrition. Means that you repent for your sins and you take and say, yes, I committed this sin. I want to do better, and I want to progress in life, and I want to be closer to God.
Why do I get a feeling that you all are being influenced to become Catholic? Okay, JMT, thank you for your contribution.
Hello. I have a question. So in English, you say sin and offense. Are there Buddhist terminology to translate this in Chinese characters? Are they different in Asian language?
Yeah, the sin is, I don't know how to translate that in Chinese. I don't know the Chinese word for sin, but offense is ye. Okay, so that's how you just translate. I'm sure Korean has the ye character as well, ye word as well. Okay, anyone else back there? Red.
Master, it seems like Catholic is sort of like never grow up or something. Because I feel like when they say that because of the devil.
Let's not be judgmental.
Because of the devil.
He's very sensitive. He may be smiling, but he resents it.
Okay. Because from his comment, he say they did commit sin because of the devil. So they don't actually accept that they did it wrong and improve upon it. They just blame it on
I have
others.
to disagree with you. It's a if they use the word devil, actually there is such a thing. So they recognize on their side is devil. In our side, we recognize there's a demon. Okay, so it's a lot more going on than you guys realize. There's some evil forces that they pull the strings. For example, now that the pandemic is more manageable in a sense, we have a vaccine against it. Okay, so at least those who get vaccinated will have a sense of safety and security, scientifically speaking, and those who are not, who are still exposing themselves to it, so be it, in none of our business. Okay, I do hope you should all get vaccinated for your own protection. And you come to me because you refuse to get vaccines, you pay. Okay, because I don't have time to help you anymore. Now, where did I want to go? After this COVID thing here in California, we also have drought, severe drought, and we have fire dangers as well. It's very, very bad as well. So it's bad things after another. But the one thing that people are still unable to put a handle on is this pandemic of illness. You have people are so depressed. Okay, from this COVID-19 thing here, it's very damaging. Okay, the rate of suicide has increased tremendously in Japan, in Korea. Japan has increased by 30%, Korea 20, 30%. You know, young people, our future, are killing themselves. Okay, so it's very, very, very dangerous. So it's the timing of the essence. We can't, you know, we need to do more. And we can't just spend our time putting out fires. Okay, we need to help our young, train our children properly. Yes. Anyone else? Green.
Thank you, Master. So when I think about shame and cultivating it in order to not violate precepts, I think of two ways. One is to be fearful of the karmic retribution that will come about from violating them, and using that fear to motivate me to act right. And the second is to use the shame to feel like I'm hindering my honor, and that I desire so passionately to be an honorable person, so that I don't want to go ahead and violate the precept again. Which one do you think is more viable or a stronger method, and how do you recommend cultivating that method?
Well, those who have a sense of shame, okay, are said to have virtue. Virtuous people have a sense of shame. Unvirtuous people have no sense of shame whatsoever. Okay, so these people who have a sense of shame have virtues, therefore they can be taught, they can be trained. That's very important. Okay, because there's a lot more going on than you think. If we want to ascend, okay, the best way, okay, in Buddhism is for someone to teach us, someone who knows how to ascend. They've been up there before. They're up there. And that's why they pull us up by giving us tips, by training us. And that's the Buddhist wisdom. So if you have a sense of shame, meaning you're a virtuous person, you have a better chance of being trained, being taught, being helped. That in itself is a big reward. Okay, unlike modern day people, you think, especially Westerners, you think you can figure it out. Unfortunately, wisdom is beyond your thinking. Wisdom is beyond your rationale. It's your rationale that limits you, that inhibits your developing wisdom. And this is what very difficult, something that's very difficult for Westerners to accept. Okay, that you think because you're training, because you're smart, because you're IQ, you can figure it out. You can't. Okay, and that's why you don't, you avoid making those mistakes by avoiding associated with losers, associating with unscrupulous people, unprincipled people. So that's why you watch the people. If they interact with those things, you stay away from them. Okay, because the virtuous people would distance themselves from such individuals. Okay, so that's why the sense of shame is important, because you yourself have this sense of shame. Okay, and therefore the people of wisdom look at you and say, this person here has virtue, therefore can be trained, can be taught, should be helped. Whereas the other people who are unscrupulous, okay, they are left on their own devices. They get what they deserve. Okay, and so you knew to Buddhism, especially to Mahayana, Hinayana also is of the thinking that you can figure it out. You can figure it out up to a certain point, up to fourth stage Arhat. You can figure it out up to almost fourth stage Arhat. But beyond that, you can't figure it out. You need to have people wisdom to help you out. That's Mahayana wisdom. Okay? If you believe in that, now you understand why we teach you about loyalty to your teachers, loyalty to your triple jewel. Because eventually, for you to get the big prize, the triple jewel has to help you out. Help us out, period. Okay? God can go so far for you. Okay? Is it loyalty to God? Well, we don't know. But the point here is that this wisdom here came from China. We need to give the Chinese credit for it. Because until my Chinese teacher came along, okay, Buddhism is about something you can understand. It's Hinayana. Buddha, when he taught Hinayana, Agama store, he says, if it's something that makes sense to you, do it. If something doesn't make sense to you, don't do it. Okay? That's Hinayana teaching. Mahayana, we know that you cannot understand. So that's why the patriarch only exists in Mahayana, because the patriarch's job is to inspire your faith. Only through faith can you follow Mahayana, because you cannot understand it. Is it clear now? I am not a patriarch, okay, and I refuse. Even if I'm qualified, I'm giving a job, there's no thanks. Okay, I want to retire. Oh Lord, please. Yeah. I'm old enough to retire in my country, my culture. When you're beyond 60, you retire. Okay, it's our tradition. Okay. But, how old are you? Yeah, 2 more years. So in Mahayana, okay, it is so special that we need the patriarchs, we need the people to somehow inspire faith in you, because Mahayana cannot be fathomed, unfortunately, cannot be measured, cannot be understood. Okay? Because if, for example, because you're out training, you see that, the additional knowledge about energy, for example, then you go into Kundalini, and all those things, and what do they call it? Those points, chakras, and so forth. Those are special knowledge. Okay, that's very, very good. Okay, it's something you can understand. Okay, and that's why you attach to those concepts of energy and energy points and so forth. Because you attach to that, you can open wisdom. Okay? So your intellect grasps at things that it can understand and it can interpret the world with, and make sense of the world to you. Okay? And that's what inhibits you from opening your wisdom. Only way that you can open your wisdom is faith. What is faith? Do what you're told. That's it. It's that simple. We tell you to fast, fast. It's only one thing to do. It's that simple. It's nothing to think about. You in pain? Accept it. Because you're supposed to fast. The instruction is that if it's too painful, quit. No. Instruction, fast. So you fast. Cross your legs. You cross your legs. So those are designed to help you develop your faith. And that's why the patriarchs have to be in Mahayana. Mahayana depends on the patriarch system or such sages in order to inspire more faith in you. Because as you improve, as you get higher, your faith has to get bigger and deeper. Okay, you too.
Tianguo asks, Master, in the Chinese TV shows, it told Weito was very close to Guanyin. Could you explain how is Weito and Guanyin related?
No, I can't. easy question. Okay. Do I look like I know everything? Seriously? I look like more like a clown. Okay. Okay. So this is the insider secret for Mahayana folks. It's about faith. Okay. It's through faith you can go to the Pure Land. Through faith you can become a fourth-stage arhat. Through faith you become enlightened. Okay, and all the good things in Mahayana happen because of faith, not because your intellect. Doesn't matter how smart you are, how genius or a person you are, you cannot understand. Okay, it's not possible for you to understand Mahayana. All right. Anything else? Oh, time is up then. Good Lord. Then next time we continue. We move on. Finally. Slide 25, right? Okay, very good. Thank you, everyone. Good night.